Good morning.
What up?
Good morning, everybody. Taking just a minute to get everybody in here. I am going to try to do attendance a little bit differently today. I'm going to post in Google Classroom a Google form for you guys to all you're doing is typing your name into it to let me know that you were in the live session today. So I'm posting that right now. So you guys can take just a minute to go there and complete that Google form, and that's how I'm going to handle taking roll today because it was really hard last week to do it with everybody that was here. So again, as you guys are, as we're waiting for people to get in here, if you guys would go to the Google form that I just posted in Google Classroom, and it's just a matter of typing your name into that. It allows me to see who made it to the live session here today. I can see Eli and Zach have done it so far. And I think everybody should be able to do it that way, so. Just way easier than trying to take roll with every single person. Another thing too that's kind of nice too is getting to see your guys' faces. So like right now I see Grace and Audrey and Callie, and I see Blake and Brooklyn and Sequoia. Let's see who else. And I see Eli, but it looks like that might be a frozen screen with Eli's dog. So, but it is nice to get to see his face still. And I see Brandon, and I see Soul and Gordon. Hi, guys. Okay, let's see. We got Jackson just came in, and then somebody whose name I don't recognize. I just invited in. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Where did that person go? Who is? Okay, so I don't know who this L Tiger is, but I'm going to remove you, and you're welcome to come back in with your real.
That's Xavier. That's Xavier.
Okay, well, he can come back in.
I can't change it. I don't know why it won't automatically change. I have to wait until I get in the thing.
Okay, well, it says Xavier right there. I'm looking at
I know,
Xavier.
I just changed it, but I can't change it until I'm in the Zoom.
Oh, okay. Well, now that you're in,
Well, I'm very sorry. I will try to fix that for next time.
Not to worry. Thank you for fixing it for me. Okay, so I'm going to take just a minute to mark down people who have not been able to fill in the Google form. So I posted in Google Classroom a Google form, and you're just typing in your name so that it's kind of my way of taking roll here today. And there are 35 participants, me being one of them. So I should see 34 responses, and currently I'm at 20 responses. So if you have not done that Google form, can you just jump in and say your name so that I can mark you down as you were here, you were participating? So who did not do the Google form, or is anybody not able to do the Google form?
At the other half of the morning.
Yeah, it looks like I've got 25 responses now, 26, but again, I've got 36 participants in here, so I'm still missing some people. So who hasn't done that Google form yet? Brandon. Okay, so Brandon, I got you. You don't have to do the Google form. Anybody else? Let's see how many responses. I'm up to 29 responses, but I have 37 people in here. So who else? May, I've got you, I've got Brandon. Who else has not done that Google form yet? Speak up, or I don't know that you're here, and I might have to tell the office that you weren't, you know, participating. Okay, I'm at 30 responses, but
Are we supposed to fill it out even if we're here right now?
well, that's the idea. May, because I invited you in after I talked about it, I did mark you down as being here. Brandon, I marked him down as being here because he said he couldn't fill it out. Is there anybody else that has not been able to fill it out? Because I want to make sure that I capture that you were here. All right, well, I'm going to be missing some of you guys. But let's go ahead and get started. And hopefully yeah, there's no way I'm going to remember. I'll remember Xavier was here because of the conversation we had with his name. I'll remember Nate because of his funny cat picture. Yeah, okay. So at any rate, there are a few things that I want to talk to you guys about today. And I just want to remind you guys that while these live Zoom sessions are not mandatory, there are always going to be some really important things that I say in them. So if you cannot make the live version, make sure you watch the recorded version, and there'll be a different Google form to fill out if you watch the recorded version. So if you are watching this recorded right now, when it's done, please fill out that Google form. Okay. And like I said before, I really enjoy getting to see your guys' faces. So I do see several faces right now, which is great. But now that I've seen you, if you want to turn your video off, if that helps with the Wi-Fi at your house or anything, you're more than welcome to do that. So do what you need to do there. I am going to take a second to share my screen with you because there's a few things about Google Classroom that I want to make sure you guys know about. I think that there's some helpful things here. So I believe you guys can see my Google Classroom screen now, right? And so I'm just in the stream right now, and in the stream you can see the last thing that I posted there. But if you click over to classwork, and this is something that I'd like you guys to try doing the next time you go into Google Classroom, and it works on a phone, it works on a computer, it doesn't matter. I have created different topics to kind of help keep things organized. So everything for this week is posted here in Distance Learning Week 2. It's got the video, it's got the notes, it's got the assignment, and then posting tomorrow will be the solutions to the assignment. And so that's good to know. There was last week's stuff. There is a topic for Zoom meetings. So if you are ever not in the live Zoom class, that's where I'll post that there. You could go back and watch the survey project Zoom meeting if you still need to complete that survey project. That was a real helpful thing. And then just some general distance learning materials. That's where the actual assignment for the survey project is. My office hours, which I want to make sure you guys all know that if you ever need help with stuff, or if you just want to see a familiar face, you are welcome to come to my office hours. They're every afternoon from 2 to 3, except Wednesdays they're 3 to 4. And this link will always be here. It's always the same link for all my office hours with you guys. And yeah, so that's where you'll find that. And I usually try to also post that link when the office hours are happening live. So you can keep that in mind. Let's see, another thing I want to make sure we touch base about is I am updating Aries. And like I told you guys before, your grades can go up. They're not gonna go down in here. I'm not marking assignments as completed, which means that you're not gonna have missing assignments show up as red. But it also means that if you don't do an assignment, your grade is not going to go down. But I do want to encourage you guys right now, people that are doing the assignments, their grades are going up like incrementally. So, I mean, like significantly for some people, especially people with lower grades. Every 100% that they get, it's making a big jump in their grades. So just a reminder about that. That survey project especially made a big difference with a lot of people's grades. So just keep that in mind. Please make sure you check Aries so that you can see, you know, your grade, but also so that you can see if I've got everything that you've turned in. Okay, so that's going to be an important thing there, is make sure you're checking Aries, and that way if you're missing something that you shouldn't be missing, you can let me know. You know, Ms. Grassel, I've turned this thing in, but you haven't graded it yet. So you can let me know if you're missing stuff. I am getting stuff graded at the end of every week. So by Friday, I am done with grades by Friday. If you turn stuff in over the weekend, I'm trying to get it entered as soon as possible. So again, just make sure you're checking in on Aries and letting me know if there is stuff that you have turned in that I haven't seen. I usually get a notification if it is turned in after the fact. So you should be good there. Let's see. I wanted to show you guys, I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to show a couple of people's work that they turned in this week, because I do all of the grading online. It's, you know, it's 150 things that I'm grading for everything, right? I have 150 students, and so I'm grading tons and tons of stuff online, which means I'm in front of a computer for hours and hours and hours on end. And so I just wanted to take a second to show you guys the difference between what it looks like when somebody scans their homework compared to when they take a picture of it. And I don't want to discourage you to take a picture of it, because if that's the only way you can do it, that's fine. But like here you can see Ethan, these are pictures that he took. And so I have to click to switch between the pictures, which isn't that big of a deal. But I have to zoom in to be able to see what he did, and then moving stuff around. I'm trying to like slide the picture up. It doesn't move great. And then I really can't even see the bottom of the picture. So that sometimes happens when they're pictures rather than scans. And phones have different apps that you can use. And I've kind of tried to tell you guys a couple of different ways to do that. So here's Kathy's, which is a scanned version. And you can see it's really easy for me to scroll through the whole thing. I don't have to click between pictures, and it's real easy for me to see. And so the scanned versions really are a lot easier for me to go through. So if you can do a scan, that really, really helps me out, and I would really, really appreciate that. On that note too, when you are turning in your homework, make sure you are turning in those assignments right there in Google Classroom where that assignment is posted. And most people have done that. But if you have to ask for an extension on turning an assignment, you can just type that that note, like the note to me saying, hey, Ms. Grassel, I had to work today and didn't get a chance to get the homework done on, just a reason why you weren't able to get it done on time, or I just needed a little more time on it. I needed a little bit of help with this. If you could type that there in the assignment itself, that really helps me then, because when I open up the assignment, I can see that you have asked for an extension in terms of turning that in. So that's really helpful. So I'm going to take just a second to ask if anybody is having any issues or having any questions on things, or doesn't have something they need, anything like that. So you can unmute yourself and jump in right now if there's anything that you have questions about, any needs that you have, anything interesting that you've been doing lately, anything there that anybody would like to let me know about.
I was actually wondering, so everybody's saying that your grade can't go down, but you have to participate to keep your credits up. So what exactly do you guys mean by participate? Do we just go to the Zooms and try to get whatever homework done we can?
I think it's probably different for each teacher. What I said last week is that while the Zoom meetings are not required, there is always going to be important information there, but that's not how I'm counting your participation. Your participation for me is counted by if you're, turning in the notes and doing the assignment each week. So basically, if you're turning in work each week, that's how I'll determine if you are participating. So
Okay.
that's how I'm doing it. I'm not sure what other teachers are doing. I don't think there's so much stuff that's still up in the air that hasn't been decided. I think that we don't have a real clear direction from administration yet. And so everybody's kind of like, I think I'm going to do it like this. And we're not real sure. So it may change later, but that's my plan for now anyway. Anybody else? Questions, comments, thoughts? Okay. I am going to share a website that I thought was kind of interesting. I'm really trying to make sure I don't assign too much for you guys. I'm really trying to limit the amount that I give you. But on that note, there may be people that feel like they'd like to be doing more. And some of you may be laughing at that idea, but I think it's true. Some people are like, all right, I want more. So there is a website that I am going to show you guys. And it is something that would be especially helpful for anybody interested in like computers or even engineering type stuff. So this is coding stuff. There's some videos where they teach you how to do some coding, and then they have a weekly interactive classroom. And they have celebrities that come in and do it each week. It's actually live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So you could do it before our class. Ashton Kutcher was on there this morning. I think he's pretty cool. That would have been fun because he could actually talk to you. And those are the last couple of ones that they did. And so anyway, they also have activities that you can do. And so if you are interested in anything like that, let me know and I will be happy to send you to that website. So I just thought that was kind of a fun thing if anybody was interested there. Let's see. Okay, so I think that's everything I wanted to tell you guys, just kind of general stuff. And then I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about the Math 3 lesson this week, because there's a few things that I just kind of want to clarify. Excuse me. So I'm going to attempt to share my document camera screen with you. So give me just a second here while I'm doing this. I just want to say again, if you have not yet completed that Google form and you haven't told me that you are here, I don't have record of you being here, and it is important to me to know that you are here. So go in and do that Google form, or say, hey, Ms. Grassel, I'm here. Okay, so I think you guys can see my, my screen now. There's nothing for you to look at there just yet, but there were a few things that I wanted to talk about in terms of these reference triangles, right? So this is the notes for this week. The first thing is you want to make sure when you are making the reference angles, you're always doing those reference angles from the x-axis. Okay, so wherever the angle's measured and then measuring from the x-axis, and then the same thing is true with the reference triangles. Okay, so when you're drawing these reference triangles, whether you have a point that you're plotting, you always connect that point to the origin, so the point 0, 0, right? You connect them there, and then from that point, you drop to the x-axis. You never ever want to go to the y-axis. You always want to drop to the x-axis. So that's a really important part of those reference triangles, is make sure you always, always, always go to the x-axis to create those. One thing that I thought some people might struggle with is the idea of rationalizing a denominator. And so just a quick reminder, this is the bottom of the first page of the notes there, because you end up with this -3 divided by the square root of 13. You don't want to leave the square root of 13 in the denominator. And so you would multiply by a square root of 13 over a square root of 13. So does anybody have any questions on how that works or anything there before I move away from that idea? Okay. The other thing that I didn't think the guy in the video did a very good job of was talk about when you have negative and positive values. So I did make a note in Google Classroom that he had a mistake on this last example. I think it was the last one. Wasn't it the last one? Anyway, okay, because your angle has to be between 90 and 180 degrees. Uh-oh, I think the screen is now frozen. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can annotate on this. Can you guys see me pointing with the pencil? Okay.
Yes.
So, thank you. When he did this in the example, he made this a 15 because he talked about the Pythagorean triple, right? The 8, 15, 17. And so this was going to be 15 because of that, but it should be a -15. And the reason that should be a -15 is because if you have this XY plane here, you have positive X values over here to the right and negative X values over here to the left. And so this side right here, because you're going to the left of 0, that's why that should be a -15 there. Okay, so that's really important to make sure that you are paying attention to where you are so that you'll know the sign. This right here, because it's going up, that's in the Y direction, right? And so the Y values are negative when you go below the X-axis and positive when you're above the X-axis. And so this is a +8 because you've gone up. That's positive Y values, right? And so that's a really important thing that he didn't really talk about very much. So just making sure you're really paying attention to the sign of that number, because like his answer that he gave on this last one, I think he said 8/15, but that was not correct. It should be a -8/15. And again, it's because of this negative value here, that Y value was a positive, the X value is a negative. And so by dividing the positive by the negative, it gives you a -8/15. So that's a really important thing that he made a mistake on, which hopefully will help you guys to remember that. Another thing that's really helpful is just remembering the Pythagorean triples. So I am going to stop sharing this screen and I'm just going to go to a whiteboard so that I can write stuff. Does anybody remember what the Pythagorean triples are? Because these they're really handy for when you're working with right triangles. So the one we just saw was 5, 12, 13. No, what did we just see? We saw 8, 15, 17, right? That was the one we just saw, 8, 15, 17. And the reason that's called the Pythagorean triple is because if you were to plug those things into the Pythagorean theorem and you did 8 squared, which is 64, plus 15 squared, which is 225, and that would equal the 17 squared, which is 289 or something maybe. Good. So Jimena jumped in and has the 3, 4, 5, the 5, 12, 13, and the 3, 4. Yeah, I think I said that one already. Okay, so let me go ahead and write those in there. So we have 5, 12, 13. And another thing that's kind of nice to know about these is anything that's a multiple of those are also Pythagorean triples. So for example, if I were to multiply the 3, 4, 5 by 2, then I'd have 6, 8, 10. Well, guess what? That's also a Pythagorean triple. Okay, so if you just multiply everything by the same number, they keep that same ratio, and those are also Pythagorean triples. So again, that just helps to kind of save you some time on using the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so let's see. All right, Christina, I see that you are here. I'll make sure I got you on the attendance. Is there anybody else? And you guys can jump into the chat if that's easier to let me know that you're here. Anybody else that was not able to get in on the Google form to let me know that you were here. Again, go ahead and go into the chat and let me know, or you can unmute yourself and make sure you hear back from me. Aaron, I gotcha. Okay, thanks. All right. I think that's all I had for today. So I am going to say, you know, if you don't have any questions, you can go ahead and say goodbye and sign out. If you do have questions, you can stay on and get your questions answered at this time. Just a reminder that we do have office hours at 3 o'clock today, and that your assignment is due today. Your notes and the assignment itself is due today. So make sure you get those things done.
Thank you, Ms. Grossel.
All right. Thanks for coming, you guys.
Bye.
Russell.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. If you do have questions, you can just kind of hang around until everybody's done saying goodbye. All right. Okay, got a few people hanging around here. What can I help with? Make sure you unmute yourself if you have a question so I can hear you. All right. Well, since nobody is jumping in to say anything, I'm assuming you guys are good, and I'll go ahead and end the meeting. Annette, Wyatt, Xavier, you guys good to go? All right, signing off. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming.